Hey everybody, Mark here with Adventures in E-commerce. Today I'm going to cover e-commerce website analysis tools. I know it sounds boring and it sounds horrible, but if you're not making the sales that you need or want on your e-commerce store, then take a look at these 13 tools that I'm going to run down real quick to help you get a good idea of what website visitors are doing on your website so that you can make corrections and get more sales. I've helped tons of people do this and seen their stores increase in conversion value. So stay tuned. Before we do, be sure and download my ebook on how to launch knockout products on Amazon. The link's just in the description. It's free and instant access. And before we get over to the video, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel to be notified of future updates. Okay, so here we are over at the computer, and I have about 5 or 5.5 categories to kind of run through on some of these usability tools. Keep in mind that just because you have your website and maybe you got a template from Shopify or WordPress, WooCommerce, etc., you still need to make sure that your website in an ongoing fashion is performing the way that it needs to. There's so many factors that affect your e-commerce website. So one of my absolute favorites is from Hotjar, and Hotjar has a bunch of tools. Their main thing is to record the on-screen actions of users to make sure that your call to actions, your buttons, all of your things are being implemented in the correct positions and really eliminating the weak spots. And I have a few different services that do that, but Hotjar is my favorite. They have pricing plans that start at free and it integrates directly with sites like WordPress, Magento, and Shopify, to name a few, which are some of the big ones. So I would definitely recommend using Hotjar. You can kind of see here on the screen, I'm pointing at my screen, that you can see where people are mostly clicking and where they are not. You can record these actions. It's actually quite weird to watch people navigate your website, but you can gain valuable insight on this. Another one that is very similar to Hotjar is Crazy Egg. I always like to give a few recommendations in a category and not just kind of pigeonhole people into doing something. I'll click over here to the features tab. On Crazy Egg, you can see they have the heat maps, obviously see where the call to actions are. You can do segmentation, analysis, and all kinds of different things. But Crazy Egg, very much like Hotjar, you could give them a try. If you like these videos and tutorials, then let me know by liking today's video. Also is MouseFlow. MouseFlow is another one, very similar. I've had some friends of mine use MouseFlow and say they were very happy with the results. Again, I prefer Hotjar. So that's kind of the heat map overview of the 3 apps that I have to discuss. This next one is Qualaroo. Qualaroo is something, a service that is similar. Pricing plan starts at about $99 a month, so it's not something that you need to use forever, but they do help you get some really good insight on into the mind of your visitor. They can ask questions, surveys, different things, really kind of get into, there's another tab, really kind of get into this sentiment analysis from the customer and help you make changes that are ultimately going to best suit the needs of your customer. Now, if you have a drop shipping store and it is a one and done per customer type of deal, which is mostly the case with most dropship stores. But If you don't have that kind of store and you have recurring customers and things like that, you really need to look into using some of these services that help you analyze your customer base and your website so that you can get into the mind of the customer and help with, ultimately help with repeat purchases. That's what the name of the game is. So another one, another set, kind of my third set of grouping here is these interface usability. You want people to be able to use your website or your app as easily as possible. And what that entails is getting people to go through, people that have experience in being critical on certain elements, usability elements of websites. But you can hire teams of people to do just that. You can see try my UI to tweak it. They will go through, this is a team of people that will go through and test your website for its usability and ease of navigation, etc. Just generally the whole experience. Usability Hub is very much the same thing. They do it in a little bit different fashion as some of these other services. They do it in a way that they do this first click test and preference test by really measuring the time it takes to click on a particular call to action, and then they do some split testing around that. So it's pretty powerful stuff. And again, if you have a website that gets good monthly traction or traffic and you are trying to improve on it, these types of services, again, you don't have to pay them forever. They're anywhere from, I don't know, $29 to $99 a month. So well worth trying to make improvements on your website. Here's User Report. Again, it's very much like Try My UI, and Loop 11 is another kind of community testing service where they offer their user experience type of testing on your website. So Usabilla is a service that really gets the user involved and asks them questions. It collects the feedback from the users as they're on your website. So it's not a testing ground for people that have all of this experience in your user interface and how things should be better, but this is just live feedback from your customers, very much like I ask you for live feedback in the comment section down below, which, by the way, if you're finding this useful or you have any other tips or tricks that you can share with others, be sure and mention it down below. Type in usability in the comments section if you have some tips and tricks for people, but this uses real-time user feedback. So this is a really neat one to implement. Another, first in my little list of site testing kind of category, Pingdom. Pingdom will tell you, a lot of people use it and it's free to use for your site performance, your speed performance. It'll give you a ton of information on how to improve your site speed, and we all know how important it is to have a fast website in this day and age, especially mobile website, because the majority of people are shopping via mobile. So Pingdom also includes several other services, user monitoring, uptime monitoring, things of this nature. They're all very helpful. They're just going to roll me into my next one here, which is Uptime Robot. Uptime Robot has a free service that measures whether or not your website is up and viewable to people or not, and it'll shoot you an email if it's not, almost in real time. So that's very important because we've run campaigns, Instagram marketing campaigns, big Facebook promotions, etc., where we have driven so much traffic to our website that website has frozen, and you don't want that to happen. So trust me from the voice of experience on that, but it'll allow you to tell you whether or not your website is up. And Pingdom offers that service as well. Uptime Robot does it for free. Another speed test is Google, their Page Insights, Page Speed Insights tool. So, be sure and use it. Another free source to tap into some of the issues with your website, whether or not it's running fast enough, and how they grade it, which ultimately is the most important factor. This last category I said originally had 5 or 5.5 categories. This last one is funny, but could be useful. But the theory behind it is sound, right? This is that your website should be so simple a drunk person could use it, right? And from a 30,000 foot view mentality, that is absolutely true. You do not want your navigation to be difficult. You don't want your categories or words or expletives to be misunderstood, right? Your website should be so simple that a drunk person could use it. And we have it right here. Obviously, here's a service. Looks like Richard from a UX Consulting will get drunk and review your website. You can see some of these on here. I'll go to HubSpot, I recognize. So he will record it and publicly air this thing on his website for all to see, but mainly for you to see how you're doing when Richard gets drunk. So anyways, listen, I hope that you enjoyed this short list of usability tools for your website. I don't care which one you use, but you should use a series of these tools to make your website better. So many people that I know just sign up, get a template, Shopify, set up drop shipping, and away they go, and never look back on how to make improvements to their website. This is as much a critical component or factor in what you do for success as any other thing that you do. So be sure and focus on this. I hope that you enjoyed today's quick video, and please leave a comment down below and like and subscribe if you found it valuable. I will see you on the next one.